Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel announced the US-Australia Force Posture Agreement on Tuesday alongside Australian Minister of Defence David Johnston and Minister of Foreign Affairs Julie Bishop. "We are not going anywhere," Hagel said. "Our partnerships are here, our treaty obligations are here and are important to us." Hagel said that the United States has 200 ships and more than 360,000 personnel in the Pacific region. Johnston said that the United States troops are helping train the Australian military. "The Marines, of course, are the world's experts in amphibious combat and amphibious operations," he said during the press conference. "And so we are watching as to how those operations are carried out." The recent troop increase is part of a 2011 agreement between the United States and Australia. It was in turn part of the Asia Pivot, which has focused the United States military on the Asia-Pacific region. The number of the United States troops in Australia is comparatively small. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel said during an August 12 troop event in San Diego that the United States has 360,000 men and women currently deployed in the Asia-Pacific. Chinese state-run media have declared Australia a threat to its national security after Australia finalized a 25-year military pact with the United States. The United States currently has 1,200 troops from the Marine Corps and Air Force training with Australian troops for humanitarian and disaster relief. The defence agreement will increase the number of the United States troops at Darwin in northern Australia to 2,500. The Chinese government is none too pleased about the agreement. Li Ji, Rear Admiral of China's People's Liberation Army Navy, told One China Times that Australia could pressure China's supply lines in the Strait of Malacca in a conflict over the South China Sea. Global Times reported that if a war broke out between China and Vietnam or the Philippines, the United States could deploy submarines and aircraft from Australia. Australia is therefore likely to become a threat to China's national security, the paper says. China is now Australia's major trading partner, thereby overtaking Japan and the United States. If China is the factory of the world, then Australia remains the quarry of the world. Over 80% of Australia's iron ore exports now go to China. Tony Abbott's administration understands that Australia's continued wealth greatly depends on China. It remains to be seen how Australia will behave in the future and how China is going to respond. But one thing is certain. If Australia uses its military bases to help the United States harm Chinese interests, then Australia itself will be caught in the crossfire.